For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit. They shall not plant, and another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord.
The hopeful elect, of which we believe we are according to faith, and the importance of being of that group called the elect, which are also known as the church of the firstborn in the scriptures. Firstborn meaning the first spirits created. And it would make sense the Heavenly Father would take the first spirits created to be the rulers of the nation, the aristocrat, if you will. If you know your words, the word aristocrat literally means best rule. The first spirits created are the best ones to rule. That's why Yahweh Shai is the first of the first, and he's the best of the best to rule. Yahweh Shai will be ruling in the next kingdom, and right underneath him will be King David,
And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit. They shall not plant, and another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear.
Was one of the most colorful. I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful leg out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shah. All right. You know what it is, man. You know, as we've been following, you know, the events that's been going on over there, all right, in the Middle East, you know, dealing with those Israelis, you know, Hamas, you know, and the ripple effect that it's having, you know, within that region and also globally. Okay, now, like I said, we have to understand for sure that, you know, according to prophecy, we know the sea hip, you know, has to be established, you know, before we see, you know, just all our conflict, you know, between all these nations. Okay, and we know for sure, you know, before this war gets nuclear, that the CHIP has to be implemented. Now, you have what you call conventional warfare. You know, when you use conventional weapons, you know, tanks, you know, your airstrikes, okay, your army, you know, your ground troops, okay, your navy vessels, you know, shooting, you know, conventional, you know, missiles, okay, and you can have their war, you know, a war of their sort, you know, going on to some degree, you know, while the CHIP is being implemented because all these prophecies, you know, go together, you know, but we know for sure that nukes are not going to get fired off until the CHIP is made mandatory. All right, but we're seeing everything come together. You know, it's very prophetic what we're seeing happening over there in that region. Okay, now this thing can be drawn out. You know, things could die down. That's a possibility because when, you know, when you get used to following these things, you know, because there's been so many times where I thought, okay, this is an act of war. You know, this is an act of war. Then you know nothing happens. Okay, but we follow these things because it could be nothing. It could be something, man. You know, I like to get into this anyway. You know, it's my thing. You know, the brothers, you know, into herbs and you know into you know into the earth or you know whatever brothers into. Brothers got their topics. You know, brothers, you know, going to the you know the tribes. You know, brothers going to a lot of different things. You know, but one of the things that you know I like to get into it is war, man. You know, it's just my thing, so I talk about it a lot. You know, but it's just interesting to see this thing come together. You know, exactly according to the prophecy of Yahweh Bashemal Shah. You know, so let me get into this. You know, I'm gonna get a few precepts, and then I got a few videos I want to get into. You know, we'll go from there. You know, just to show where we at with it, man. You know, let's go here, Isaiah 13. You know, and everything is coming together, man. Hey, cause all prophecy is linked together, so we can see Jake bugging out. You know, you got bug outs. You know, Elder Manata Zakbar doing a live on that now. You know, Jake bugging out. Okay, all these prophecies are linked together. That's why you have different men with different gifts to go into all these different things. You know, and then make the body complete. You know, so let's go here to Isaiah 13 and 1. It said, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see." All right, so you have to understand that our forefathers they seen, you know, the destruction, okay, of America. They actually seen the Third World War. They seen these things. Okay, so this is a vision. All right, it says lift up. It said lift you up a banner upon a high mountain, exalt a voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And see, this is the prophets, okay, and the high mountain, all right, is America, but and the government, all right, of America, which is ran by who, man? The elites, Amalek. Okay, so we're lifting up a banner, all right, which our banner is Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, this word against this government, man. And within this word is the judgment of this current government, this Edomite, all right, power structure, man. Okay, and we're lifting the banner against this place. All right, and we're in the gates of the nobles. All right, because the gates, in the ancient world was a place of traffic. And what's the number one place of traffic now? The internet. Okay, and the Lord has established His word, His ministry through the prophets on the internet, man. Okay, and you best believe the nobles are paying close attention, all right, to these lessons and what's coming out, man. Okay, because their judgment is written, and we're shaking the hand, letting them know what's to become. All right, what's to befall them, man. You see, verse 3, it says, "I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness." Yeah, the angels are very active out here, man. Okay, the angels are bugging people out. Okay, the angels are causing these nations to get into war mode. Okay, the angels are causing people to be more demonic. It's a perverse spirit. The Lord had mingled a perverse spirit in Egypt. Okay, you have death angels out here. People getting shot up all over the place, man, stabbed up. Okay, the angels are very active, man, and they play a major part in orchestrating prophecy, man. Okay, so as we see what's going on, with this third world war, is that these angels are stirring these nations up and they're putting things into place. Because one thing about it, even if things die down, they can never go back to how they were before, because people, the different nations have showed their hands, and they've shown where they stand. Okay, Russia, invading Ukraine, ain't no going back from there. They there. Okay, it's only going forward from here out. All right, and what we're going to see, the spirit that these nations are in their region in the Middle East, ain't no going back from that, man. Okay, everybody locked in. You see, it ain't no going backwards. So even if it do, die down, okay, they still have, moved forward, all right, closer to this third world war. Everybody's a step closer, man. You know, verse 4 says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people." And these are talking about missiles. "A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle." So it's the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. He mustered the host of the battle. He's stirring this up, man. Okay? Through Yahweh Shai via the angels. All right? So we're seeing the world being stirred up for a war. All right? Because all these nations that we keep hearing about, in these rumors of war, eventually those nations are going to send nukes to America, man. Okay? And those weapons are known as what? Verse 5 said, "They come from a far country, from the end of heaven," ICBMs. Okay? Those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Even the Lord Yahweh and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Okay? To destroy the whole land. All right? So this is what everything is leading up to, the destruction of America, man. Okay, this is what this war. This is going to be, one of the biggest statements made in the war is America being completely destroyed, and we're seeing the build up to it. Okay, whether it's this year, next year, the year after, we're seeing the build up to it, man. Okay, so let's go here, and then I'm gonna play. And just show you that prophecy, okay, reigns supreme. All right, let's go here. Let's get this in Isaiah. We'll read this every day. It's Isaiah 46:9. It says, "Remember the former things are old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." Okay, and what we're seeing playing out is the Lord doing his pleasure in the earth, man. Everything that we're seeing is the Lord's pleasure, all right, being played out in the earth, man. Everyone that he wants to be destroyed, he's setting them up. All right. Jake getting sifted. Okay. Esau, trying to keep himself in power, but really he's he's putting himself in the snare. That's the Lord doing his pleasure, man. Okay. The Lord is doing all his pleasure in the earth, man, and we're seeing it happen in real time. And then he put the spirit on particular men, all right, to understand these things, man, fully. Okay. So let's go from there. All right, I got this video. Now I know you brothers, heard about Albert Pike. All right, pretty much a Freemason. All right, high level warlock. And he had that dream about those those three world wars, which the scriptures prophesied it. All right, and supposedly he had a dream, and if it's true, we know where that dream came from. Okay, if a brother can put that, because I'm finna cue up the video in the book of Job, how the Lord puts a man's instructions, when he's asleep. It's in the book of Job, how he sealed the man instruction while he's sleeping. Okay, because he supposedly had the dream. So we're gonna go into it, and we're gonna see how these things are playing out, because these elitists, okay, there's some high level warlocks and witches, and the Most High has opened them up on the left hand side, man, to where they're privy, to a lot of intel on the left hand side, and this is how these devils run the earth, man. All right, through witchcraft, man. Okay, yeah, it's going down in the earth, brother. It's going down, Zaquan. All right, and we're gonna get into these things, man. We're gonna get into these things. So I want to open it up here, and then we're gonna go to what's happening and show you how it's playing out, according to the will of the Most High. And the devils think, it's their will playing out, but nah. Okay, Esau's a pawn on the board too. Okay, he thinks he's playing both sides of the chess game, but nah, he's within the chess game of the Most High. Okay, so let's play this and we'll go from there.
I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. Albert Pike was one of the most colorful characters in American history. It is said that he was born on December 29th, 1809 in Boston, was the eldest son of 6 children born to Benjamin and Sarah Andrew Pike. He studied at Harvard and later served as Brigadier General of the Confederate Army. After the Civil War, Pike was found guilty of treason and jailed, only to be pardoned by President Andrew Jackson on April 2nd, 1866, who met with him the next day at the White House. On June 20th, 1867, Scottish Rite officials conferred upon Johnson 32nd degree Freemasonry degrees. Pike was said to be a genius, able to read and write 16 languages. He was one of the founding fathers of the head of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, being the Grand Commander of North America Freemasonry from 1859, and retained that position until his death in 1891. In 1869, he was the top leader of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Pike was said to be a Satanist who indulged in the occult, and he apparently possessed a bracelet which he used to summon Lucifer, with whom he had constant communication. He was the Grand Master of a Luciferian group known as the Order of the Palladium, or of Sovereign Council of Wisdom, it's also been called, which had been founded in Paris in 1737. Now, General Albert Pike was the only Confederate general with a statue on federal property in Washington, D.C. He was honored not as a commander or even as a lawyer, but as Southern Regional Leader of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The statue stands on a pedestal near the foot of Capitol Hill between the Department of Labor building and the Municipal building between 3rd and 4th Streets on D Street Northwest. Now, I tell you all of this because it is said that he received a vision from his mentor, Mr. Lucifer, I guess, on August 15th, 1871. And William Guy Carr, former intelligence officer in the Royal Canadian Navy, wrote a book called Satan, Prince of this World, in which he gives this information. He said that he received this information from a book written by Cardinal Caro Rodriguez in Santiago, Chile, who wrote in 1925 a book called The Mystery of Freemasonry Unveiled. And in this book, in 1925, it is said that he wrote a letter to a man named Mazzini in which he described this dream. And in the dream, he predicted 3 world wars. The First World War, he said, must be brought about, and I'm quoting from Albert Pike. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. Now, students of history will know that Otto von Bismarck forged certain alliances between 1871 and 1898, which brought about this war, this World War I. And Otto von Bismarck here says that he was a co-conspirator with Albert Pike, and he was the one instrumental in bringing about the First World War. Well, that's the First World War. Then he dreams that there must be, he is given in this visionary dream, a Second World War. Now, remember, this was in 1925 that it became public in this book written by a cardinal from Santiago, Chile, Rodriguez. He says, quote, the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism will be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would then be restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Well, there are some who may argue that the terms Nazism and Zionism were not known in 1871. You should remember, however, that the Illuminati invented both of these movements. In addition, communism as an ideology and as a coined phrase originates in France during the Revolution. In 1785, Restif coined the phrase 4 years before the Revolution broke out. Restif and Babeuf, in turn, were influenced by Rosé, as was the most famous conspirator of them all, Adam Weishaupt. Then he has this vision, in this vision, not only 1 world war and 2 world wars, but here comes the Third World War. He says, and I quote, the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Yeah, that's what he says. The war, this was 1925. Please understand that. At least 1925. May go all the way back to 1871, as is purported to do, but at least it was written in a book and published in 1925. So he says, after World War I was just over a few years, and before World War II even started, he's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm in which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin and savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. So
Yeah, man. So you heard that? I'm gonna run it back. Then we'll get, we'll move on. All right. But he spoke about this Third World War, and just to sum it up, all right, World War One, they pretty much ended, the monarchs that was left, with the czars of Russia. I think you had Nicholas II, the last czar of Russia, and then you had the end of the Ottoman Empire, okay, which was pretty much suppressed, to what we know as Turkey today. You know, that's the remains of the Ottoman Empire. All right, and the Ottomans, they had, Palestine. All right, so the First World War ended. The they reduced the power of the Ottomans. Okay, and now they're just pretty much the Turks, and it reduced. It destroyed the monarchy of Russia, those czars. Okay, so now they're able to push democracy, which democracy is just a way for the elites to have more control of the masses, of the money, of the the cultures of these different nations. Because it was hard to do with a monarchy because a monarchy was ruled, by one man. Okay, and he had a particular order set up, and it was hard to infiltrate. But through democracy, he was able to cause a lot of confusion, man. All right, then you had the Second World War, where pretty much, he was able to establish, the Israeli state. All right, the state of Israel, which is nothing but a colony. All right, a European colony. All right, in the Middle East. Okay, it has nothing to do with the chosen people and all this, BS that they pushed. It's just a European military colony in the Middle East, to pretty much, govern, all right, those their region, and control those resources, man. Okay, so I'm just run it back and let them talk about the Third World War, how it's going to be started, and what are we seeing playing out today. you know, all right. Let's see. Probably about right here.
mutually destroy each other. 1925. So he says, after World War One was just over a few years, and before World War II even started, he's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will uh, be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other.
So we see the script. Okay. Now, if the devils are tapped in, at the end of the day, these demons that they summon and listen to, all right, all answer to Yahweh. All right, Yahweh answer to the Most High. Okay. Now, this the brother Yahweh, the hopeful elect 3. It says, now, it supposedly had a dream, whether he had it or not. We know that a man's goings are the Lord. All right. And these plans and these schemes that these devils, come up with, all right, are nothing but instructions given to them from on high. All right, through the left hand side. This is Job 33 and 15 through 16 says, in a dream and a vision of the night, when deep sleep fall upon men and slumbering upon the bed, then he opened the ears of man and sealed their instruction. Okay? And these devils are doing nothing but following instruction. They walk around, even them being proud. The Lord instructs them to be proud, man. It's in their spirit to be proud. Okay? Just so he can destroy them. Okay, just so he can make an example of these devils, man. Okay, this is from the brother El Kazak Shalom. Revelation 2:24 says, "But unto you I say, and unto the rest at Thyatira, if I'm saying that right, as many as have not this doctrine, and which have not known the depths of Satan, okay, as they speak, I will put upon you no other burden." All right, and these devils are tapped in with Satan, man, tough. Okay, they're tapped in with this man, tough, on the left hand side, and they begin divine instruction from their left hand side, man, to fulfill the will of Yahweh Shemal Shai. All right, it's another one from the elder brother Kazak, GMS page master, Isaiah 47:10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Yeah, because the Lord has allowed this man, to have access to so much on the left hand side. All right, so much technology that has made things convenience. You know, the weaponry that no nation on earth has ever had. Okay, insight on the left hand side that no other heathen nation has ever had, man. And it's like, this man, he's been perverted. All right, because Esau is a goddamn sicko, man. Okay, and this man has been perverted by this wisdom and knowledge. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am. So he feels like he is on the even playing field with the Most High. This is how this man really feels, man. And none else beside me. Okay, he really feels, that he has some type of wisdom that he's gonna outwit the Most High. The brother, Priest Tazamak out of Memphis, he made a beautiful point the other day on the live stream they were doing, that Esau Edom is trying to outwork prophecy, man. He's trying to outwork, the the outcome, okay, spoken of in the scriptures. He's really trying to outdo the prophecy. This is why we see this man all over the place, man. Okay, because with this whole thing was going on over there in Israel, there's a lot of things that he's trying to spin off with this, man. Because war affects economy. All right, you see Hamas, you got the guy, Army of Yahushua, the agent, with the AR tutorials. Okay, he supports Hamas, but then he's giving the salute that we give, and he's trying to teach how, he's trying to throw out little talking points that we speak on as if he's sincere. Okay, all this is happening because it's these devils up top that's running this agenda, man. Okay, it said, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. See, these devils are only privy to so much. All right, because guess what? They're on the need to know basis. All right, these devils are on the need to know basis, man. Okay, when it comes to prophecy. So there's particular things that they know, but then there's a things that the Most High is going to do that these devils not privy to, man. Okay, and it's going to spiral out of Esau's control. Okay, and then he's going to be in this position. Verse 12, Isaiah 47:12, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Okay, the Most High is pretty much mocking them, man. Telling them to stand with those enchantments, but the Lord is going to pull back Esau's access to the left hand side. And he's just going to open them up for judgment, man. Okay, Esau, he was allowed, to tamper, okay, and to maneuver on the left hand side, okay, for a period of time to fulfill prophecy, man. But as it get closer to his judgment, the Lord is going to draw back, okay, Esau's access to that left hand side, man. He's going to be bare. Okay, but brother can put that in Revelation 9 and 12, you know, and we'll get to the next video. All right. So we heard that, you know, the Third World War, you know, it pretty much was gonna be between Zionists and Islam. Okay? And let's see what we have. All right, brewing up. Okay? Get ready to play this. You know, he's gonna go into some things, man. All right, this little corny Edomite, you know, he be having some good info. And times sometimes he just be too goddamn corny to listen to, man. Okay, but with this one, you know, he dropping some pretty good info. So we're just gonna go into it, and we're gonna see what's developing over there, man. Okay, now this is Revelation 9 and 12. It says, "One woe is past." All right, which is all right, the First World War. Okay, the woe goes into destruction. All right, and these wars, you know, led to tens of millions of people being killed. Okay, it was a great woe. It says, "And behold, there come two." All right, there come two woes more hereafter. All right, the next two wars. Okay, World War II has already taken place, so there's only one more war to go. That last war. Okay, and this is where we're at, and we're seeing the build up. Okay, we're watching this thing. Not to say that it's gonna go down this weekend. You know, you know, Halloween night is on. You know, nah, just know that is getting there. All prophecy is in motion, man. No prophecy is idle. Okay, all prophecy is in full motion, man. Okay, now, so I'm gonna play this. You know, and say some pretty good info. Let the first, mm, we'll see. We'll go in the spirit, but we'll let it play. You know, and brothers post. You know, as they see accordingly. You know, well, let it play.
Paying attention because the worst case scenario that we've been warning about is rapidly unfolding by the day. This is Bright 10 Broadcast News for Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. I'm Mike Adams, the founder of Brighttown.com and the publisher of naturalnews.com. I am a humanitarian. I call for peace, and I value every human life. And yet I find myself almost as an alien in this world where everybody else seemingly wants mass genocide, death, war, and they don't value anybody's lives at all. And I'm seeing this across conservative media as well, which I'll talk about in a minute. It's just astonishing. But of course, a horrific event took place in the last 24 hours, which was the bombing of the Al-Ali hospital in Gaza, which is the main focus of today's podcast. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I do want to point out, have you noticed how many, quote, pro-life conservatives now fully support genocide of an entire ethnic group? I've been shocked by this. A lot of publishers and people that I thought were pro-life, they support the Israeli extermination of Palestinian women and children. I mean, right? It's such an insane contradiction. How can you be pro-life, opposed to aborting babies, but you support bombing babies? I mean, that's some sick, twisted stuff right there. But I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that in alternative media. I'm seeing it in independent media.
And I'm gonna say this. You know, it's a lot of people. You know, that's fooled by the propaganda. All right, simple as hell. The script says the simple believe every word. All right, well then there's a lot of people waking up to the BS of these elites, man. You know, and this whole Israeli, you know, you know, that whole anti-sim, you know, that they push. Okay, there's a lot of people waking up to that BS, man. All right, and it's like, nah, these people off, man. These people, because see, one thing about it, you know, it was cool, you know, when they were just playing the victim and continue showing the, you know, the clips of Hamas you know, flying in and, you know, just wilding out, you know, so called. It was cool, but the retaliation is like, wait a minute. Now we, you know, we okay, we get, you know, some retaliation, but they going way too far, man. Okay, people like goddamn. So it require all this now. Okay, so hey, a lot of people waking up to the devil, man. You know.
Yeah, conservative media. The other day, Breitbart.com editor at large Joel Pollack essentially calling for total genocide against Palestinian civilians. Yeah, Breitbart. Just stunning. And again, these are people I thought who were pro-life. Turns out that was just a convenient bandwagon for them for a while until they no longer needed the label of pro-life. Now they're pro-death, by the way. So many of them are pro-death. And there will be, global consequences because of all the rage, the hatred, and the violence that apparently lives in the hearts of far more people than I ever suspected. It's astonishing. And I tweeted out a warning to say that, Israel's genocidal slaughter of Palestinian civilians places all Christians in harm's way. And that now, with its mass bombing of Gaza and the talk of Israeli political and military leaders talking about turning Gaza into rubble, exterminating every life in Gaza, that Israel has now managed to unite nearly all the Arab nations and religious sects, which everybody thought that would be impossible. Well, Israel can work miracles when it comes to unifying hatred against Israel among Arabs. So they have done that. So now the Arabs have been rallied against what they see as a common enemy, which is, of course, Israel, that they see as an existential threat to all their children. So now the entire world is a far more dangerous place for Christians and Jews. Think about it. I'm a Christian. Now, thanks to Israel, I have a target on my back among all the jihadis that want to kill Christians and Jews. Yeah, way to go, Israel. You've just unleashed a holy war in which millions of innocent people will suffer. So let's get to this attack. Let's start with some basic facts, and then we'll get to interpretations, because the interpretations do, of course, differ quite dramatically. The fact is that the Al-Ali hospital in Gaza was bombed. There was an explosion. There are different stories about who's responsible for the explosion. But this hospital was bombed. 500 people reported dead by the Gaza Health Ministry. Other sources put it at 200 to 300. Another source I saw is 500 plus. But it was mostly children. It was children who were displaced internally, children who were fleeing the northern part of Gaza because Israel had ordered them to do so. And in being displaced, many children ended up as refugees in this Al-Ali hospital. And this hospital was blown up. We're talking about, I'm not going to show you the images because it's too heart-wrenching, but we're talking about mutilated, destroyed bodies strewn about, blood everywhere, bodies without limbs, some without heads. Patients of the hospital, some elderly, many, many children, just bodies flung everywhere. One of the most horrific scenes that you could imagine. Now, there's a man named Hanania Naftali who has been appointed by Netanyahu as the digital spokesperson for Israel. Shortly after this explosion took place that destroyed this hospital, this man, Hanania, tweeted out, quote, Israeli Air Force struck a Hamas terrorist base inside a hospital in Gaza. But then he deleted his post. And then later he said that he mistakenly shared a Reuters report that claimed Israel was behind the attack, but Reuters never reported that a Hamas base was struck in any hospital. So Naftali was at first celebrating this. He says, the Israeli Air Force struck the Hamas terrorist base in the hospital. A number of terrorists are dead. And then he said, it's heartbreaking that Hamas is launching rockets from hospitals, mosques, schools, and using civilians as human shields. And then he deleted it. And then the narrative shifted. The narrative shifted to where Israel now says, no, Hamas blew up the hospital. And how did that happen? Well, they say Hamas fired a rocket that went awry, and the rocket spun out of control and hit the hospital. And then in the hospital, the rocket hit an ammunition depot, setting off a secondary explosion that blew up the entire hospital. That's the Israeli narrative at this point.
And you know, it's just a goddamn lie, man. All right, everybody on earth know what happened, and I got videos going to show it. But this man's a damn liar, man. Okay, and ultimately, what he did, you know, with this act, you know, you have those Muslim nations, the Islamic nations, unifying. Now, let me get this precept, and then we can expound on that, and then I'm gonna go forward a little bit in that video. It says, this is the brother, the hopeful Lake 3, Revelation 6 and 4. And it says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given him, all right, there was given unto him a great sword. And this is Esau Edom, man. That's all this man does is take peace from the earth, man. He's always has some type of agenda of wickedness, man. All right, and this nigga will not stop until he stop, man. Okay, and that's why what he's doing, okay, because these devils, they want war. Okay, that's their biggest racket is war. All right, and it'd be the perfect, you know, war. You know, even just a conventional war. All right, well, these devils are going to push a lot of agendas. See, they get to push a lot of agendas in health crisis, okay, and war. You know, so this is what these devils want, but it's going to lead to this man it's going to lead to this man being stopped. Okay, so let's go here just to prove that them devils did that, man. All right, because you know, like the brothers say, let's get this. Okay, it's the brother hopeful Lake 3, Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. This is how these devils operate, man. You know, this is how these devils operate, man. It's always some type of mischief with this man. He's like a badass child on the loose, man. You know, just going through the house, tearing things up, just all into shit, just doing too much, man. Okay, so real quick, let's get this video. It's about 3 minutes to show that this man did do that, man. Okay, and we already know. Okay, well, let's show it. We on the spirit on this devil tough, man.
On the 17th of October 2023, hundreds of Palestinians were killed when the Al-Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza was bombed. Officials in Gaza blame the blast on an Israeli airstrike. The Israeli army denies responsibility and claims the attack was due to a failed rocket launch by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They say they used Al Jazeera footage to allegedly confirm these claims.
But you're asking me for proof? You don't need to get proof from me. All you need to do is switch over to Al Jazeera, who broadcasted it live, and you can actually see. I've got a screen caption just for you to see. This is Al Jazeera from last night.
Our digital investigations team, SANAD, decided to investigate these claims and conducted an in-depth analysis of this Al Jazeera video, along with several other videos from multiple sources, and established a detailed second-by-second timeline of the events. By analyzing Al Jazeera's live stream starting at 1845, the team was able to identify 4 Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, targeting the area near the hospital, starting at 1854-28, then 1855-03, then 1857-42, and then 1858-04. That's military time for just before 7 p.m. local. The team cross-referenced this video with another, captured by a camera situated south of Tel Aviv, showing a wide view of the Gaza Strip. That video shows a series of rocket launches from Gaza. That video clearly shows how the Iron Dome intercepted these rockets. Going back to the Al Jazeera live feed at 1859-35, we can see a single rocket launched from Gaza. This is the rocket in question. This rocket can also be seen on the Israeli video. 15 seconds later, Al Jazeera's live feed shows that the same rocket was intercepted at exactly 18:59:50. This interception has the same afterglow seen in previous interceptions. A closer look at the video captured by the Al Jazeera live feed shows the rocket being completely destroyed and broken apart in the sky. According to all feeds and videos analyzed, this rocket was intercepted and was the last one launched from Gaza before the bombing of the hospital. 5 seconds after that interception, an explosion in Gaza can be seen, followed 2 seconds later by a much larger explosion. This is the strike that hit Al Ahli Arab Hospital. As a result, Al Jazeera Digital Investigations team found no grounds to the Israeli army claim that the strike on the Al Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza was caused by a failed rocket launch.
Yeah, man. All right. And the whole earth knows this nigga lying, man. Okay. Put that Jeremiah 49:10. Okay. This man is over, man. The jig is up. Okay. And the only thing left for this devil to do, okay, is crash economies, go to war, and then go into captivity, man. You know, crash economies, the sea hill, go to war, and then he go into captivity, man. That's what's on this devil's agenda, man. All right, that's his future. Okay. Yeah, man. So he busted. All right, everybody got this nigga on camera, all this technology, everything working against him. His technology is telling on him, man. Okay. So let's get this, and then we're gonna go back to this video. All right, because there's some heavy things, mentioned later on in this video. All right, but all he has done is unite these Muslim nations, these Islamic nations, all right, against his ass, man. All right. Now this is the brother Yaqub, the hopeful elect 3, Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay? So this man is being made bare, and he can't hide himself, man. Okay? Everything that he's doing, his real agenda is out in the open. He's trying to fake, like people don't know how he gets down and what he's up to, He's trying to still run these same plays, but then he's like, nah, it's a lot of people like, nah, man. Okay, like we see you. Okay, like you did that. All right, you got the camera, like all these cameras on the earth. Esau, feel like he still can just say he can do anything and just say anything behind it. Nah, man. There's a heavy spirit of exposure on this devil, man. Okay. So I'm gonna play some more of this. All right. And I got one more video,
And it's simply Israel fulfilling their promises. So here's what's happening now. Thousands of Lebanese protesters are now surrounding the U.S. embassy in Beirut. And let me tell you, I would not want to be in that embassy right now, because your chances of surviving this as an American stationed in the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, your chances of survival just plummeted close to 5% or something. This is bad. I don't know how many U.S. Marines are stationed at that embassy, and I don't know how much ammo they have, and I don't know how many helicopters can get there and evacuate the U.S. Embassy employees, but this is looking very bad. And if those protesters break through there, they will slaughter every last American in Beirut. And this is just Lebanon I'm talking about. Something similar is about to happen to almost every American and Israeli embassy across the Middle East. In fact, in Jordan, the Jordanians are surrounding the Israeli embassy there and probably planning on the same thing. Now, from France, Macron says nothing can justify targeting civilians. He's condemning Israel. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, strongly condemns Israeli attack on a hospital in Gaza. That's from their state news agency. And then, of course, we have a statement from Hezbollah, which you can probably guess what this is going to say. Hezbollah says, quote, all statements of condemnation and denunciation are no longer enough, and we call on the people of our Arab and Islamic nation to take immediate action in the streets and squares to express intense anger and to put pressure on governments and states wherever they are to take immediate action against the massacres. And then the Saudi foreign ministry chimed in, saying that Israel's occupation bombing of the Ali Baptist Hospital in Gaza is a heinous crime. The Jordanian king describes the bombing of the hospital as a massacre and a war crime. Now, Israel is denying all of this. Of course they are. I mean, after the tweet first came out and said, yeah, they did it. But Israel has a history of denying and lying, obviously. Well, every government does. But Israel in particular, because Israel killed an Al Jazeera journalist last year named Shireen Abu Akleh. And this was covered by Al Jazeera because it was their journalist that Israel murdered. And then Israel denied that they had murdered that journalist at first. And here's how Al Jazeera describes it. After Israeli forces fatally shot Abu Akleh, Israeli officials denied involvement in the incident and tried to blame it on armed Palestinians. Sounds exactly like something Israel would do. The office of then Prime Minister Naftali Bennett released a video showing a Palestinian firing a weapon down an alleyway, claiming that the footage backed their theory. According to the information we have gathered, it appears likely that armed Palestinians who were firing indiscriminately at the time were responsible for the unfortunate death of the journalist, said the Prime Minister's office. But the accompanying video was quickly debunked, and Israel eventually admitted that one of its own soldiers killed Abu Akleh, but then they said the shooting was accidental. So you see, this is the way Israel operates. At first, it's like, we didn't do that. And then when the evidence becomes undeniable, it's, okay, we did do that, but we didn't mean to do that. Right? So Israel has a track record of course, lying about bombings and, well, lying about the whole situation in Palestine and lying about killing journalists. Oh, did you know that a Reuters journalist was also killed by the IDF airstrikes? There were 6 journalists. One of them was Reuters, and I believe it was a woman, and she's dead now because Israel is bombing Reuters journalists at this point. Unbelievable. There are protests at Cairo happening, as well as Beirut, like I said, and the Israeli embassy in Jordan. And to add to all of this, Netanyahu, who is a depopulation globalist and a WEFer, by the way, Netanyahu said a day earlier, so just 2 days ago by the time you hear this, Netanyahu said in a speech that the war was a struggle between, quote, the children of light and the children of darkness. You got that?
Yeah, and ultimately he's not talking about goddamn Palestinians, man. Okay, what's that? what's that in Sirach? 33, I think 14. Good is set against evil, the sinner against the godly. Okay. So at the end of the day, with that video, I'm gonna go back to it. Those Islamic nations are gathering together. They're pretty much being rallied together. Behind what's going on. All right, because the Israelis are going hard on civilians, man. So you had Iran, to display the black flag, which is supposed to be a symbol, in Islam, of war. Now, what you have to understand with those Islamic, those Muslims, you had the Shiite and the Sunni. We keep, I know you're probably familiar with those terms, Shia and Sunni. Now, Sunni is the more conservative type. You have your Saudi Arabia, they're Sunni Muslim. All right, but then you have your Shia, which is Iran and Shia. All right, and even amongst those, you have different sects um, amongst Shia and Sunni. But Shia is your more extreme. That's why you have Hezbollah, which is Shia. They the ones that, the Shia Muslim, they the ones that, into the suicide bombing and all that, extreme, radical shit, was the Sunni is a little more, conservative. All right. But all in all, those Islamic nations, you got to understand, you got Jordan, all right, you got Yemen, you got Qatar, you got, even though some of these nations are in bed with America, they're still Islamic. And according to prophecy, okay, they're going to rally together against these devils, man. Okay? So we can see the beginning of these nations rallying together, man. Okay? Pakistan, which is a nuclear, nation. India, all right? There's a lot of Islam in India, which they're a nuclear nation. Okay? so and he goes into an analogy. I want to get this analogy, and then I got one more video. But I want to get this analogy that he goes into because it's it's spiritual. It's prophecy, man. And how because he doesn't go into these things. All right, he's a Christian. They don't go into prophecy, but he says something that lines up directly, with prophecy. So I'm gonna let this play these next few minutes. Then we get into some prophecy, man. All right.
To nuclear detonations in the Middle East that will shock the world and will probably collapse the Western banking system when that starts to happen. So take all necessary precautions. Be prepared. If you have only a 4-month supply of food, I would say that's crazy. You're not ready for where things are headed. But 4 months is at least a starting point. It's a good start. It's better than only having 4 days of food, which even most Americans don't have that. But not 4 months. Hey, this is funny. Today I was walking my dogs, and my small dog that's half blue heeler, she's the one that I've named the bunny gobbler. Remember? She digs up small bunny rabbits out of the nests and gobbles them whole. I mean, she chews them a little bit and then swallows. I mean, I showed you a picture of her a while back. She's the bunny gobbler. Crazy. She can just dig up a rabbit and eat it and just go. It's gone, man. She terrorizes rabbits. Anyway, today I was walking her and she takes off running, runs ahead about, I don't know, at least 100 meters, maybe 150 meters. And I see her in the distance, and she's on the side of this path that we take. And then there's this giant black wild hog that runs across the road, and then she runs after it like yip, 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 because she's small. This giant hog had to be 250 pounds easy. Big black hog, just like running across the road. And then my little bunny gobbler, yip, 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 like running after it. I'm like, I chuckled. I'm like, yeah, let's see how long that lasts, And sure enough, about 10 seconds later, the bunny gobbler turns around and comes running back towards me. I guess she figured that she couldn't swallow a 250-pound hog. But there's a metaphor in this. It kind of reminds me of, frankly, Israel versus the entire Arab world. It's like Israel is the bunny gobbler, like yapping and terrorizing the bunny rabbits all day. But then there's this giant 250-pound wild animal out there that, the little dog can't mess with. And that's kind of like, maybe this is a crude metaphor. I'm not trying to insult anybody in any of this. I'm just trying to say there's a point which my dog realized it couldn't beat this wild hog. And there's probably going to be a point where Israel realizes that they're in a sea of Arabs and they're about to die if the Arabs actually just decide to attack.
Now remember, he made the analogy, of his dog, chasing that wild boar, and then that wild boar, pretty much putting that dog to flight. Well, this is prophecy, man, and he compared, his little dog to Israel, okay, them Israelis, small hats, okay, and that wild boar, all right, hey, to them nations in that region, man, them Arab nations. Okay. Now let's get this in prophecy to show, because he said, what if they decide to fight back? Well, according to prophecy, they are. Okay. This is Second Esdras 15:28. It said, "Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots." And see, those Saudis, they gotten a lot of weaponry from America, man. I think the Saudis are probably the biggest, all right, purchasers of weaponry from the West, man, America. But now they're starting to get stuff from guess who? All right, big Russia, man, big Pew. Okay, and all these Egypt, okay, they're Islamic nation. Okay, and they have Air Force. You see. And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Okay, because those nations come and see the elites pretty much bank on, one, and that's another thing about, these elites in their region, because they'll support, they'll finance and support, and do deals with some of them Arab nations, and do infrastructure with them, set them up, on the global trade with their oil. Okay, and some of those nations flourish, and then some of them, they terrorize, and what that does, it creates a same thing they do with Jake, with the house nigga and the field nigga. Well, they do that with them Arabs on another level. Them Saudis, will be like, them house niggas, man. Okay. And everyone else is like, the other nations look like field niggas, man. They do that, man. But see, when those Arabs come together, it's gonna be a problem, man. Ishmael, Elam, them Syrians, when they come together, it's gonna be a problem over there. Now watch this, verse 30. Also the Carmanians, which is Iran, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars. Okay, now what's the coincidence of him, making that analogy, which really it was a real thing that he went through, whether he seen his dog go through being chased by that big boar, but he know his dog is known for terrorizing, those bunnies. All right, because Hamas is a bunny. Okay, all them other put together terrorist groups that the Taliban, them bunnies. Okay, they was going to Iraq, see them bunnies. You see, but it's said also them Carmanians, which is Iran, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. Okay? Them Israelis not just gonna have their way over there, man. And America gonna have to get in. And then Russia, okay? Then China, then hey, it's gonna spiral out of control. Okay? And it says, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Okay? Because they're gonna be what? In that region. Okay? It's gonna be a regional war over there, man. In the Mesopotamia, what they call the Middle East. Okay, today. All right. Verse 31, it says, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and what is Ishmael's nature, a wild man. Okay. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, okay, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee, because America gonna be on the back foot. And Israelis gonna be on the back foot over there. See what's happening. All right, the Israelis and America is isolating themselves in the earth, man. Okay, they're pretty much being isolated in the earth, man. You know, but when he said that, I was saying, damn, that's heavy. You know, but that lets you know, hey, we in them times. All right. You know, well, I say, well, hey, this year, next year, the year after, eventually these things are gonna play out, man. Okay. Now I got I think I got one more video. Let me see. Yeah.
Do you hear?
So yeah, I got one more video. I'm gonna let this play, you know, and just show you, you know, how Russia and China moving, you know, as these things are going on. All right. So what we're seeing is pieces coming together. Okay, because the build up to the war always take way longer than the actual war. So we're seeing these things build up. Okay, you're seeing moves being made, things being put in position. All right. So I'm gonna let this play.
Good evening, friends. Stephen Bernoulli with Israeli News Live. Listen, this evening we have loaded up a broadcast over on our Patreon channel going into a greater depth about what we're speaking about here tonight, the war in the Middle East, the coming war in the Middle East. And we over on Patreon, we get into technology that is really going to be used. Some of the things that we don't necessarily disclose always here, but over on Patreon, we figure the people that are there, they really appreciate some of that type of in-depth information. But here we just want to touch on the news things that are happening. So let me just get right into the news part of this that we shared, and that's also over on the Patreon, very much the same news part of this broadcast. President Putin, President Xi Jinping meeting today over in the Middle East over the One Belt, One Road initiative. And I think that's very important to note here, especially in light with all the tensions that are happening in the Middle East. They're meeting about the One Belt, One Road initiative. And why would they be doing that? Well, China and Russia have been strategically putting their own assets into place, preparing for an all-out third world war. And as you've already been hearing rumors going around that there would be weapons that'll be used in this war like never seen before, you can definitely count on that. Both the U.S. As well as Russia and China will be implementing weapons that we have never seen on a battlefield before. In fact, I go into some of that over on our Patreon channel. So you definitely want to go into that. I will say, though, that the antimatter weapons, like was seen in Beirut, that Israel used on Beirut, will be used again in this conflict. In fact, when President Biden went to visit with Netanyahu, there was a lot to do with getting permission to be able to use certain types of weaponry that the U.S. has already committed to giving to Israel there. So that's one thing to keep in mind there. And of course, like I said, the situation definitely is getting more tense by the moment there. And so that's something that we wanted to share with you as well. Also, on the Lebanese border there with Israel, there has been more fighting going on there, or more exchanges of fighting happening over on that border there. But Hezbollah claiming they're 1,000 times stronger than they've ever been. And of course, we know that Iran has given Hezbollah some very remarkable missiles to be able to use against Israel if, in fact, they do go to war with one another. And it does appear that that war is definitely an imminent type of situation. I've been told that the war in the Middle East is also going to be used to try to destabilize the economy of the U.S. And like I said, in light of the fact that Putin and Xi Jinping are meeting over the One Belt, One Road initiative, and of course, the two leaders of the BRICS nation, which Israel has also joined the likes thereof. They have also joined into the BRICS nation. It's just not been made public as of yet. So all these wars and battles that are being fought, or going to be fought over there, are only playing into the hand of this new globalist agenda. And at the end of the day, when the war is all over and the dust settles, and especially in light of the fact that Israel will have lost people on a global scale from attacks, riots, and everything else, it'll be such a horrible bloodshed that will come with radical Islam that has been displaced in the first place to all parts of the globe, from the Syrian conflict that happened, and then Turkey sending the migrants into Western Europe. They've come into America. They're coming across the southern border even now. That displacement is going to be used to bring about violence against not only Jews, but against those Christians that have supported Israel. And I'm not saying not to support Israel, but nonetheless, that's the type of violence you will see. This will give Israel the power to be able to declare in a new world order, to bring out the Noahide laws. And those Noahide laws then will be brought into place that will be so stringent on Christians everywhere, to where you would be then in a very serious situation of having losing.
So these devils, they're gonna use this. They're using this, all right, it's because they pretty much set this up. Okay, they want these things to be happening. They want this tension. They want, the division. They want the Christian against Islam, the small habits. They want this division at the bottom. Okay, they want people to start canceling each other out, man. Okay, they're all about, all right, chaos and violence, man. Okay, remember, there's a major depopulation agenda that these devils have, man. All right, you got the juice. Okay, they pushed the juice. All right, now they pushing violence, man. Now they, all these ideologies. Now, wait, it's finna. The devil, he's gonna spin off a lot of mischief, from what's happening, man. He just has an excuse to blame. Okay, he has a scapegoat for his agenda that he wants to bring to pass. He can blame the economy on the war. He can blame, uh, 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 he can blame the uptick in violence on the war. He's gonna throw us in the mix. With the persecution, which Lord will. We'll get into that guy. Armor Yahushua. We'll get into him on another video. But yeah, he's gonna spin off a lot of things off this event, okay, and how things are panning out, man. Okay, and then you speak about them what you said, Noahide laws, okay, and these devils are gonna use this to get real draconian, man. right, let me play this.
Your life over, as the one lady said when she had on her hand in Hebrew her wrist, about redemption through Yeshua. The Jewish friend of hers that would often visit her store said, I like you, I appreciate you. Remove that tattoo though, because in the not so distant future there are new laws coming out and that tattoo will cost you your life. Later we spoke about that, and a lady said that the same thing happened to her, but it was over her cross, when a Jewish lady said to her, you need to remove the cross because what's coming are laws that are going to cause you to lose your life for wearing something like that. Imagine a society, a world that comes to where you have no more freedoms whatsoever. Well, all you have to do then is create enough chaos in the world, enough wars and bloodshed and things of that nature there. And then guess what? Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's listen in here as the Pentagon breaks the story here of shooting down cruise missiles and drones coming out of the Houthi-held area of Yemen today. Listen in.
Bolster regional stability, and of course, to make it clear that we will protect and defend our national security interests. To that end, the crew of the guided missile destroyer USS Carney, operating in the northern Red Sea earlier today, shot down 3 land attack cruise missiles and several drones that were launched by Houthi forces in Yemen. This action was a demonstration of the integrated air and missile defense architecture that we have built in the Middle East and that we are prepared to utilize whenever necessary to protect our partners and our interests in this important region.
Like I said, this is about to get very ugly very quick. I was able to confirm also that it is true. Iran has moved all of their troops into position in the event that they ever went to war with Israel. They have positioned those troops for that very purpose. So it's really, really, really getting very serious over there. Listen, we appreciate your support.
Like, yeah, if a brother can put Revelation 11 and verse 14 and 15, you know how we end these things, but just going back to those, pretty much those Navy ships, okay, those Navy warships over there, and they shot down, missiles coming from the Houthi rebels out of Yemen, and those Houthi rebels are backed by Iran. And see, what they're doing is they're just seeing, it's just like a boxing match. Like the first round, first 2-3 rounds, you don't see a lot of action. The boxers be feeling each other out, how they gonna react, So they shot them missiles off, because let's say the Houthi rebels, they not, major, they're not like Hezbollah, Hezbollah will be the strongest, militant group under Iran, but they also, help those Houthi rebels as well, because they're fighting against the oppression, of the West, in Yemen, where a bunch of people are on the brink of starving because of Western authority, But yeah, they shot those missiles, man, and they seen, because that's how you see what defense is at. You shoot a missile, then you see how, they defense react, and then you kind of okay, so they got this station here, they got this capability, So they over there filling each other out, okay, and we'll watch these things and see what it be. It can go either way. It can die down, it can get into some conventional confrontations, okay. But we know it's not going to go nuclear until that CHIP is made mandatory, okay? And it's not going to just go all in. These major players are not going to get all in until the CHIP get made mandatory. But it's all a build-up, okay? So let's end it here. All right, this is Revelation 11-14 from the brother Beyond Yashala. It said the second woe is past, the second world war, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, man. As the scriptures say, the end is nearer than we believe, man. Because hey, we can sleep on these things and hey, it can happen, man. It can pop. Hey, the CHIP war, like all these things can pop. All these prophecies are intertwined with each other, man. So it says, and the seven angels sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. He shall reign forever and ever. That's Yahweh Shai, you know, and those joint heirs, okay, and with the elect, being delivered. You see, so we're coming to this time, man. This is where everything is leading to, this third world war, all right, which is going to usher in, all right, Yahweh Shai, to conquer the earth in righteousness, man. Lord will be part of that number. All right. So that's the point. Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters edified. I know I might get a strike for this one, so I know I'll probably be out commission on this channel for a minute, but we're gonna keep it moving, man. So now it's just to see, unless some real activity happen over there, we'll just watch, and if it get heavy, we'll report, so Lord will. He was edified. Till next time, I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, a Bible Ball, DTA soon, Shalom.